Bluff City Media presents The Anthony Sain Show with your host, Anthony Sain. Now, let's get to the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to The Anthony Sain Show. My name is Kenny Stubblefield. Y'all absolutely do not see Anthony Sain on the show today. He has taken the day off, but I had to send out the best signal to my guy, to one of my good friends. There's not many dudes in the sports media world that I consider to be a good friend. And one of those guys that I consider to be a good friend is Matt Enfield. Matt Enfield, what's up, man?
Hey, flattered by those comments. Appreciate you having me. I got to say, I didn't realize you guys still had Luke Kennard in the intro art to this show. Does that have approval from the fans of this show or not? I'm just saying.
Listen, that intro, that 1 minute intro doesn't have approval from the BCM staff. Like
Okay,
I get hit up all the time. Please change that. Please change that. And I'm like, listen.
Notice that. I'm like, of all the Grizzlies players, but
yeah.
Nah, man, I appreciate you having me on. Obviously, I'm not Anthony saying anything close to it, but we'll see if we can fill those shoes today.
Well, Matt Enfield is the sports reporter, sports anchor for WMC Channel 5, Action Sports News, whatever.
Action News 5, baby. Come on.
Action News 5. It's
you get it right.
It's changed.
That's true.
I forget. And so Action News 5 sports reporter, Matt Enfield, he is the guy. You'll see him on Channel 5 all the time. You'll see him at the games everywhere. He's just everywhere doing everything. So shout out to you, man. I've missed you, though, this year. I haven't seen you at as many Tiger football games as I have in the past. I feel like you've been out busy doing other things, man.
I'm trying to think what games I've been to. I've been to Arkansas. I was at USF as a fan. I did see that comment. That's funny. Haircut or grew the hair out? I don't even know. I was at the USF game as a fan. Because obviously I went there. One of my good friends from town or from school came into town for that. And then I was at Tulane, but the new athletic department this year put in a new policy, which is fine. That basically TV stations, they only want one of us on the field at a time. So like I used to in the past just hang out and watch the game on the field because like that's the best place to watch the game. You really get a feel of everything.
Absolutely.
And this year they politely said they don't want as many people on the field, which is cool. So that's probably why you haven't seen me at as many things. But I didn't see you in Oxford the other night. I was gonna say we missed you down there. Roman was there, but we didn't see you.
Roman was there. I'm old, dude, and we had a discussion in the green room prior to the show starting. I'm kind of pissed off today, man, because I hurt my back doing absolutely nothing yesterday. And I'm going to be 45 in January. And when I saw the schedule release for the Ole Miss game and it was 8 o'clock in Oxford, I was like, no, not going to be able to do that. Yeah. And there's another reason why. Like the Tigers Live post-game show is one of the bigger shows that we do here at Bluff City Media. It's kind of really hit a niche. You've been on it multiple times last season. You and Francis Carlotta were together on that show. And I just decided, listen, I'm going to go to as many games as I can, but I'm going to spend a lot of time really concentrating on Tigers Live this year. So you'll see me there every once in a while, but honestly, man, I might be getting a bit too old to be sitting down there on the baseline. It just gets a bit it's tough.
Well, also to your point, I left for Oxford at 6:20 and didn't get back into Memphis till like 12:45, 1 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, I feel you.
Sain sold out and went white. That Jack Tripper from Three's Company.
This comment section gonna be off the rails today.
What the fuck happened to Sain?
No, Sain did not get the Michael Jackson. Don't worry.
Sain got that money and traded himself.
He did not get the Michael Jackson or the Sammy Sosa. Don't worry.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. That is so funny. Well, listen, Sain will be back on Monday. He has taken a much-needed day off to rest and recuperate. And just got a busy weekend ahead for him, so he's going to be he took the day off just to get ready for it. So, but anyway, let's get going, man. We've got a lot to discuss, and I sent you a text last night, and I was like, we're absolutely discussing this in the first segment, and it's that former Memphis Grizzlies Dylan Brooks and Marcus Smart they talked to Grizzlies last night, and I don't think it was. I think the funny part about it, Matt, is that it came out at the exact same time. There was a press conference, a post-game press conference with Dylan Brooks, where he had some comments about his time with the Grizzlies. and then Marcus Smart spoke, and I don't know who he spoke to. I saw DeMichael Cole had tweeted it out. I don't know exactly
who he got, right?
Was it Clutch Sports that he spoke to? Okay,
yeah, so Clutch Sports, I think.
And he came out and said some things about his time with the Memphis Grizzlies, and the response to it was, "Oh, the Memphis Grizzlies players are so pissed off at Zach Kleiman, they sent out the bat signal to former Grizzlies Marcus Smart and Dylan Brooks to speak about their time with the Grizzlies." But I don't think that's the case. I just think they got asked questions and answered the questions at the same time. But I want to walk through a little bit of what was said by Marcus Smart. We don't have any video from Marcus Smart's comment, but basically what he said was he was talking about the time in Memphis, disconnected, and he said, "I came back from injury and I got traded because they said I didn't want to be there." He said, "I'm injured. What do you mean I don't want to be here? I'm here every day working my ass off cheering. I'm the only one on the bench coaching, but you know how it is. Control what you can control." And he said, how did he see some of the organizational issues inside Memphis? He said, "Way better. You see what's going on now. That started with me." And he said, "I wish nothing but the best for them. Those guys, they worked their ass off talking about the players, but you could definitely see this coming, and now this is what you get." Obviously, Marcus Smart joined the Grizzlies in 2023 in a major trade, talks about just organizational dysfunction, all that kind of stuff. And then Dylan Brooks comes out and he has some comments. And I want to play Dylan's video for you. And we're going to react to this, and then I want to have a much broader discussion about these comments. But let's react to the Dylan Brooks stuff.
Dylan, with you mentioning your confidence, I was curious, you've been this confident for a very long time. Do you remember the last time on a basketball court you were confident?
I would say probably the series against the Lakers. I couldn't shoot the ball. The GM was telling me only shoot 6 shots. Not giving me the confidence I needed. And you could feel that energy, coming from, front office and coaches, and it's never the players. The players always want to win, but you feel that energy. So even if you're working, you put in the time, it's just not falling. So all right, that was the last time, and I cut that off from then, and then I had that little feeble run, and all I kept doing was working, to get back to where I was, the vintage Dylan Brooks.
So you'd say, no matter how confident a player is, it is also on, the ecosystem environment around that guy to enable that confidence, because anyone can lose it, essentially?
Yeah, this game is all about confidence, no matter what level it is. You gotta be confident in your game, when that comes from work, or that comes from people telling you that you're good, or you gotta get better, and you slowly get better and better. And once you have a good surrounding cast and a good team and great front office and good coaches, that the stuff shows. You see it in every game, and good teams and good organizations. So I don't want to go on a rant, but on to the next game.
All right, Matt.
So he listened to Zach Lyman, by the way.
Say that again?
He did not listen to Zach Lyman at all.
Oh, I know. He said that. He said I could only take 6 shots. I went back and looked at it. That man was taking 15, 16, 13 shots a game. Average
13 shots in that series. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy. All right, listen, man. You got Marcus Smart coming out and saying something. You got Dylan Brooks coming out and saying something. Just instantly, what are your instant reaction thoughts to what they are talking about in terms of dysfunction within the Grizzlies front office, the Grizzlies organization, whatever?
I mean, there's probably some credence to what they're both saying, but I also think both of these guys left here on not great terms. I mean, Dylan, as he just mentioned, that series against the Lakers, with whatever Kleiman allegedly told him, and then the way he played, and then the report that came out afterwards about how the Grizzlies told him they would not bring him back under any circumstances. And I remember very clearly at exit interviews after that series, Zach Kleiman being asked about Dylan Brooks multiple times, and his response was something to the effect of, "I'll hit on Dylan another time." He clearly had no interest in talking about Dylan. So we know obviously that didn't end well. Marcus, I mean, it didn't end well. He gets offloaded to the Wizards in a salary dump. And I mean, I guess I kind of get why he wouldn't be happy about his time here. But dude, he never played. He never played. Respectfully, he showed up to camp out of shape both years he was here. He wasn't really good when he was on the court. This is the guy that you brought in to replace Dylan. And it never worked, largely because, like I said, he didn't play. And I know there were some people that wonder what a playoff run last year would have looked like if you held on to him and he was healthy. That's a move that I will not give. The original trade was a mistake. I get why they did it. But as far as salary dumping him, what if Marcus Smart wasn't playing last year and then you really tank his trade value and then you can't get off him at all? That was the real disaster doomsday scenario that was potentially looming. Now, I will also say, Marcus Smart obviously spent a lot of time in a championship caliber organization, even if he didn't win one with the Celtics and one right after he left. So I'm not going to act like he doesn't know what it looks like internally for everything to be buttoned up. But at the same time, you can't – I think that you can both give some credence to what they're saying and also acknowledge there's probably some sour grapes on both of their ends.
The Marcus Smart time period is such a – I agree with you. It started poorly.
There's a comment in the chat. I don't know if you want to highlight it.
Which one? Oh, Marcus Smart came to training camp straight from Gibson's Donuts. Absolutely. That's DJ's wild, man. But no, like the Marcus Smart time period or the tenure in Memphis, it started poorly. It went poorly throughout. I mean, he broke a finger shooting a shot. Man.
He had multiple serious finger injuries, which is a wild sentence to say.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of crazy, right? And then it ended poorly. I think basically they just had to get off of it and get him out of there because he had zero trade value at that point, right? Like you just needed a salary dump so you could keep.
And you needed the money to pay Jaren.
You had to pay Jaren, right? So you had to pay him. So you don't know if he's available. When he is available, he's not adding anything to the roster, to what's going on the floor. And then he's got zero trade value. So like, what are you supposed to do outside of just saying, listen, man, cut bait and run? Like you got to cut bait so we can keep Jaren Jackson Jr. I don't know. Like he's basically saying, he said in here that I don't want to be here. I'm every day working my ass off cheering. I'm the only one on the bench scoring or only one on the bench coaching, but you know how it is. He said they didn't want him, that he didn't want to play. And did you ever hear, I didn't hear that from anybody in the Grizzlies front office. I heard that from us in the media or the fans in the bleachers saying, listen, this guy just doesn't want to be here.
Marcus might have been too chronically online for that one because I think that was very much a Grizzlies Twitter / Grizzlies fans on social media comment, much more than it was anything internally or from any established media members. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he broke a finger lifting heavy food trays, bro. He ate his preseason workout. Like this is, it's just.
Let me say this. I like Marcus. Like Marcus actually like to speak with and like interview in the locker room was great. He was always like really like honest and introspective with us, and it was cool to kind of get a little peek at his thought process. Given where he came from, but again, like he just didn't play enough to have any sort of real. I was going to say for his words to carry any weight, but given the discussion, conversation, I'm going to go a different direction. But yeah, like no one wants to hear it. Like, yeah. And I think it could have gone a different direction if he didn't get hurt so much. But it is what it is. He played 39 games here in a year and a half.
It's crazy, bro. 39 games is wild.
41% from the field, 30% from three. He wasn't good either.
Yeah, he just wasn't a good. He wasn't a good fit. Wasn't a good. He could have been a great fit. Like personality wise. What he does on the court, he could have been a great fit.
Right.
Even in the sense of like you had Jalen Wells come in, you had all these other young guys in the fold, being able to coach them up. And I'm sure that the players and Marcus had a great relationship.
Yeah, yes.
He seems like the kind of guy that would absolutely have a great relationship with his teammates. But he's speaking specifically to the front office dysfunction that he saw this stuff. He saw the dysfunction in the front office and the organization coming. And then Dylan Brooks kind of said the same thing, right? Like he said, I lost my confidence when I had the GM of my former team telling me I can only shoot 6 shots per game. Number one, how truthful do you think that is? Like, do you think Zach Kleiman actually had a conversation with Dylan Brooks saying you can only shoot 6 times a game?
Maybe not that specifically. I wouldn't be surprised if they had a conversation where Kleiman was like, hey, be smart about your shot selection, let's say, because of X, Y, and Z. But like that specific, I'm a little skeptical, but a conversation along those lines, I wouldn't put it past Kleiman.
It does seem like Zach Kleiman is engaged and involved a lot more on the basketball side of things than a lot of other GMs are, right? Like it feels like he is absolutely involved. I mean, all you have to do is look at last year with Taylor Jenkins and look at last year with the way that things were run, even the firing of an entire assistant coaching staff, bringing in his own guys to be the assistant.
Well, yeah, and then hiring his handpicked lead assistant to be the new permanent head coach without interviewing anyone else. I mean, that shows you who's got the juice right there.
Yeah, he's definitely got the juice. I guess my question and the overarching question for this entire segment, based on what Marcus and Dylan are saying, is this does this speak like the stuff that has been happening, all this stuff that Marcus is talking about, that Dylan is talking about, it seems to be kind of in the past, like they saw some signs of some dysfunction within the organization. Are we seeing some of that dysfunction in the front office right now with the Memphis Grizzlies, with things that have happened, like with the way that these last couple of years have gone down, with the way that they hired Tomas Isolo, all those kinds of things? Are you seeing that play out right now? Or is it just the kind of the bumps and bruises of a new staff, if that makes sense?
I think there's a degree of the front office, and specifically Zach Kleiman, wants to see this thing look a certain way. And I think that they need to be more malleable than what they've been so far. And that includes Tomas Isolo. Like, you've got to be willing to adjust to the personnel that you have and to the game that you're playing in the NBA right now. I will say, let me just bring this up on Dylan real quick, because there's a lot of revisionist history around both he and Steven Adams and their departure from Memphis and how that went down. Absolutely. Again, Dylan, I understand he was the heart and soul and the last connecting piece really to grit and grind, and he brought an edge that I think this team probably is missing right now. That's fair. They have not been able to replace that since he left. Like, there's no doubt about that. He also, as mentioned, shot 13 times a game in that Lakers series, 31% from the field. Let me pull it up here. 24% from the three-point line, and unnecessarily provoked and embarrassed the organization by, as he put it, poking the bear when that bear is the top 2 player of all time. You could look back on it now and say, oh, you should have kept him this, that. Man, in the moment, no one was saying that.
Nobody was saying that. Yeah.
The relationship had run its course. It is okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Dylan did a lot of good things here, but I do not think that keeping Dylan around would have resulted in things being dramatically better than they are right now. He was here for a while. They made a couple runs with him. He had his flaws as a player and as an instigator, let's call it. Good and bad. I mean, there was some good that came with that as well. But the relationship had simply run its course. And I don't think that if they didn't get rid of him after that year, they would have gotten rid of him the year after that. It was inevitable at some point. And I understand 3+ years or 2.5 years down the road, it's easy to say you should have kept him, but no one was saying that in the moment.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall with Dylan Brooks a couple of years before that when John Jaren were on the team, and I think they were first and second year players. And Dylan came out in a press conference and said that, yes, John Jaren's team, but the more shots I get, the more shots it opens up for John Jaren. And all of us in the media were like,
I actually wasn't here for that. That was before I got.
Wait a second, bro. Like, hold up. He's like, I need to shoot more shots. The idea that he was a 3-and-D kind of guy. He wanted to be the focal point of the offense, and it's clear that whether it's a Taylor Jenkins situation where he couldn't get Dylan under control in that regard, make him buy into the system that they had, or whatever, he got traded to Houston, and immediately, like, it seemed like for the first couple of months of the season, Ime Udoka had kind of gotten him to buy into the Houston system. And then then you started hearing, oh my gosh, Houston fans were like, oh my gosh, what is Dylan Brooks doing? He's killing us right now. And then now he's out of Houston and in Phoenix. It's not
it's like the Suns fan, like he put up, like, he had a huge game last night. He put up 32, I think.
Yeah.
He'll have those games, and then he'll have a game next week where he scores 7 points on 2 of 13 from the field, and you're like, come on, man, like stay in your lane, know your role.
Dylan Brooks seems like he's the perfect guy for an up-and-coming team that has young superstars that are just trying to find their way in the league, and a kind of the veteran on the team that is talented enough to like provoke players and do different things on the court, but he's not talented enough to like take the spotlight offensively away from those two young guys, right? Like, and I feel like he's a good like glue guy in that regard. But once those two young superstars kind of once they develop and hit a certain point, then Dylan kind of becomes a de facto to their growth. Right.
I think he'll be good for Phoenix because they have a lot of other than Booker. It's a lot of young guys basically that they're trying to rebuild the court. I think he could be good for them. But like you just mentioned, once they eventually collectively, if that group ever levels up, you're probably going to have to look for an upgrade for him at that spot if you want to go to that championship contending level, which is essentially like you just alluded to what the Rockets did. They were young, they were up and coming. Dylan was there the last couple of years. And then they get embarrassed by the Warriors in the first round last year. It's like, oh, how do we take that next step? Oh, we need a guy like Kevin Durant. And Dylan can go in a heartbeat.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's get back to the Grizzlies for 1 second, though, because obviously the Grizzlies are in a struggle right now, right? They are struggling. I said it in the post-game bounce after the Boston Celtics game. That was an embarrassing effort. I called it unprofessional. I just think that effort against the Boston Celtics was one of the most unprofessional things I've seen in a long time by the Memphis Grizzlies team. There's clearly been issues with Isolo and Ja and the guys trying to figure out their role within Isolo's new system. There's been issues. I think Isolo coming over to coach NBA basketball and understand what it means to coach NBA players and not EuroLeague players. I think there's a level of having his hand and his fingerprint on everything when it's like, bro, just coach, right? Like just coach and be adjustable, be available to like change because of what your players want to do. But is that where the Grizzlies are right now, or is it more so just trying to get used to each other, or are you seeing some things that kind of give credence to what Dylan and Marcus are saying, that there's some organizational issues here?
Oh, it starts at the top of Kleiman, and this was the guy Kleiman wanted, and I think that Kleiman wanted him to play so that the team would play a certain brand of basketball, which I think that there is like the high-end outcome of what Isolo wants to run, to me, and this is what I thought they were going for when they traded Desmond Bane last year. The high-end outcome of this style of basketball is what the Pacers were last year, where you were going up and down and applying pressure on both ends of the floor, and it's at a breakneck speed where it is really, really tough to contain offensively, and they make you very, very uncomfortable defensively. But with that, I also think that you have to, like you mentioned, Isolo coming over from Europe, he was not coaching $40, $50 million a year players over there. He was not coaching any players that had one of the hottest signature shoes in the game right now, one of the most famous basketball players in the world, even if he's not playing all that well right now. Jock Landale brought up this point at Media Day because he was in Europe at one point when Isolo was in Germany. And he said, in Europe, the coaches are the stars because the players come and go, but the coaches are really the ones that are constant, and usually the success is associated with them. But I think the reason that the success is associated with the coaches is because when the talent level is relatively lower, because those are good leagues over there, but when it's relatively lower, good coaching can be a separating factor. Here, I think good coaching is a complementary piece to awesome talent. So that's where it starts and ends right there. So I think that I get what he's trying to do. And I thought he could be a good hire before the season. But clearly there is an adjustment that needs to be made to the personnel that you have and the league that you are playing in. And Zach Kleiman also has to be open to that adjustment because I'm going to hit on this more this weekend in one of my segments. But this was Zach Kleiman's all-in gamble. Again, he hired Tomas Isolo without interviewing a single other candidate because he was that sure this was going to work. So if this completely flops, I don't think Zach Kleiman should be allowed to hire another head coach. I mean, and I think Kleiman is better than a lot of the fan base gives him credit for as far as like talent acquisition and whatnot. But if this flops, I mean, it is certainly a very open question about what his future as a GM is. So they both have to adjust to make this thing work and maybe rethink exactly how this is going to look to maximize it.
Yeah, I said that at the beginning with the day that Isolo got hired, and it was very clear that Kleiman did not do an national search for a coach. He had his guy. He had his guy already.
He had his guy last summer when he brought him over.
Yeah, he and ultimately put Taylor Jenkins in a lame duck situation last year. That was his all-in push. He pushed all of his chips in on the system and the plan that Isolo had for what the play looked like on the court. And so when you've got folks that are saying, fan base in the comment section that are saying, Kleiman's got to go. I'm telling you, if Isolo doesn't pan out, they're both going to not be here, right?
He probably will be. Yeah. And I think that, like you can't be, and I get it. Like if you're that convicted in the move that you go all in, that's fine. But when you push all your chips to the center of the table on an unproven commodity, if it completely flops, you're gone too. And I think Kleiman, I would probably call Kleiman, I don't know, off the top of my head, I would probably call him like a top half of the league GM. And without getting too deep in the weeds. He's not elite, but I think that he has an eye for talent. He's not saying he's been perfect. And it's left a lot to be desired, but generally speaking, I think he has a good eye for talent. But that is only part of the equation. And if this part of the equation at this juncture of the franchise fails, he'll probably be gone too because he didn't view any other options. So this has to work essentially.
It definitely has to work, and I do think that this is one of those. We can talk about organizational issues, and it's a lot of stuff that I don't think most of us know a lot about, right? Like it's organizational issues that are out there. We're not involved in that. We don't know those things. We can guess and say this is what we think is going on, but in the end, I think that old adage is true, man. Winning cures all. And if the Grizzlies start to play better, and I think you're going to see them start to play better when they get their guys back. Zach Edey looks like Zach Edey's going to be back.
Tomorrow, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Maybe Tuesday at the latest for the Wemby matchup. That'd be nice.
That'd be nice. I think Zach Edey, while he doesn't save anything for the Grizzlies, he definitely adds a much-needed piece in terms of being
like they're throwing – I like Jock Landale too. Jock Landale's a third center who's starting every night because they're down that bad at center right now.
Yeah, and you've got two guys, John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr., who their best years have been with a big that can actually rebound and set picks and be a presence in the middle. Zach Edey does that for the Grizzlies. I think things get changed up there. When Ty Jerome comes back, I think you'll see some other minutes get affected, and he's just a guy who in the half court can do a lot of things that other guys on this team that are getting minutes right now can't do. And so I do think that you're going to see a difference with this Grizzlies team in the next few weeks in terms of what they're able to do on the floor.
I think it also needs to be said too, like what they're 4-9 right now, I think.
4-10,
whatever it is. They've beaten all the teams that are shittier than them, and they've lost to all the teams that are clearly better than them, basically. And now it goes beyond the wins and losses. Like you alluded to before, the effort in some of these losses to better teams has been a little bit embarrassing. And it looks like they're just resigned to the fact that they're going to give up a massive run in every game. And once that avalanche comes, the game's over. And like that mentality has to shift. You have to be able to punch above your weight class a little bit.
Yeah.
But they're not the basement dwellers of the Western Conference.
They're close.
I think there are a couple teams worse than them.
Definitely. Dallas and New Orleans are worse than them by far.
I think Sacramento probably is too.
Sacramento.
I think over the course of the season, once they get healthy, Phoenix as well. So
yeah,
it could be worse. Like someone said, you could be the Mavericks.
That's a good point. You could be the Mavericks.
The Mavericks have Cooper Flag, but yeah.
They have Cooper Flag, right? But listen, I will say as much as there seems to be organizational issues at times with the Memphis Grizzlies. I can tell you where there's one place where there's not organizational issues, and that's Grade A Pest with our guy Reggie Freeman Alexander. Reggie is a born and raised Memphian, spent a lot of time in corporate America, left corporate America because he saw a need, and he saw a need for safe, effective, and local pest control in the city of Memphis and the surrounding areas. 20 years of experience in pest and rodent control, homegrown business from a born and raised Memphian, committed to excellence by applying human and pet-friendly products that are safe and highly efficient to meet your pest needs. Hit them up, gradeapservices@gmail.com, or call him at 901-628-4867. Listen, man, I got to meet Reggie Alexander yesterday for the first time. I got to meet him on a commercial shoot. This guy is a legend. He is awesome. He is as Memphis as it gets, and he goes everywhere. He goes all over DeSoto County, Fayette County, Shelby County, the Memphis metro area. He will literally do anything and everything you need him to do. And as Anthony likes to say, he's got he can also do the honeydew list too, but just make sure I can't do it like Anthony. Just make sure your wife ain't home when he's there.
I was gonna say, is he your chiropractor since you back shooting that commercial?
Listen, it was Reggie Alexander's commercial shoot that messed my back up. I got my back gave out because of Reggie Alexander. It was just, that sounds terrible. Pause. Wow. Okay.
You're washed.
Washed. Man, listen, but no, he's the greatest, man, and really good guys. They all are great at what they do. But just hit them up. Grade A Pest Control, gradeapservices@gmail.com, and check out their services. They do a lot of really great things. But hey, let's take a break. When we come back, we will have the hot three. I'm sorry, the 3-pointer, and we're going to talk NFL football. We're going to talk some basketball, and we're going to talk some Mafia when we come back. We'll see you back here after the break.
In the heart of the Highland Strip for 27 years, Trilogy Tattoo has helped tell stories for Memphians for generations. Located at 530 South Highland, Richie and his team are waiting to help you tell yours.
From tattoos to piercings, your body art should be as unique as you are. Voted a Memphis Flyer top 3 tattoo shop in the city of Memphis since day one. Your story will be safe here at Trilogy Tattoo.
Open 7 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 11 to 11, and 3 to 11 on Sundays. They have convenient times waiting on you. Let Trilogy Tattoo help you tell your story.
But I'll say this to you, Grizzlies players. Grow the fuck up. Grow up. I'm sorry that things aren't perfect for you right now. I'm sorry that you don't like your rotations. I'm sorry that you're not liking the system and all of our players aren't back. Grow up, man. Grow up. Games like tonight are an embarrassment for you and an embarrassment for us that cover you and an embarrassment for the comment section, the people that watch you, that put their hard-earned money and time behind watching you play and cheering you on and buying your gear and buying your shoes and all that kind of stuff. Tonight was an embarrassment. It's time to stop playing like children and getting down in the dumps and mopey and pouty when everything's not going your way. Man up, grow up and play ball.
Tune into the post-game bounce live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel immediately after every Memphis Grizzlies game for instant reactions and breakdowns.
Hey, welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. The comments say, listen, bro, I want to officially say sometimes I say things I don't mean, and it comes out bad, and I'm getting flamed for it right now. It's all good. It happens. They put out the bat signal already. Hey, Anthony, don't let Kenny do the show anymore. Shout out. Shout out. But, hey, listen.
Good job. Good job. I didn't realize you were a commercial model, too. Good job on the tattoo commercial.
Hey, listen. Trilogy it's such a cool place, man. I got my first tattoo ever there. And it was when I grew up in a home that did not like tattoos. And I went after I was 18, got my first tattoo. And then about 2 months later, had to get my wisdom teeth removed. And I got my first tattoo at Trilogy. And about 2 weeks later, had to get my wisdom teeth removed. Was drugged up so bad because of the pain that I remember just like drunkily just showing off the tattoo to my dad. And let me tell you something, man, it did not go over well. It did not go over well. But I've been there. That was 18. I was 18 years old then. I'm 44 now. I've gotten a lot of other tattoos, and most of them have been at Trilogy. Trilogy has been around now for 27 years in the same location on the Highland Strip. Richie Jarvis is the man over there. They do a lot of really good things. Trilogy Tattoos, Memphis.com. Let them tell your story, man. Every tattoo has a story. And if I were to show you my tattoos, Matt, I could say to you, here's the story on this one, and here's the story on this one, and here's the story on this one. I've gotten 2 from Trilogy in the last year, and they all have stories to them. Let Trilogy tell your story. Let the good people over there, Richie Jarvis and his team, do their thing. 27 years, homegrown talent. I'm telling you, Richie Jarvis has a coaching tree, a tattoo tree that can only be rivaled by Greg Popovich's and Phil Jackson's coaching tree. He has got, like, literally, if you go to any tattoo shop in the city of Memphis, more than likely, I would say the strong percentage is that they have gotten their training or some kind of affiliation with Trilogy Tattoos. They've been around for 27 years. They're the best. Hit them up, Trilogy Tattoos, Memphis.com for your tattoos, piercings, whatever you want to do, and let them tell your story. But hey, listen, we're going to get to the three-pointer topics, 3 topics in the sports world that we need to discuss. And this one hits close to you, man. Last night, your New York Jets faced off against the New England Patriots and got beat. It was not a bad game, right? Like, it wasn't a tough game. They did fine. But the Patriots,
without Garrett Wilson and Justin Fields just cannot see the field at all. But yeah, it was not embarrassing.
It was not embarrassing. But the Patriots are. Would you say that they're the surprise of the NFL season so far?
I hate to say this as a Jets fan and as the Patriots are without question the sports team I hate the most, without a shadow of a doubt. 20 years of getting your asses kicked by Tom Brady will do that to you. And the only thing that makes this slightly less painful for me is in fantasy football this year, I drafted Drake May absolutely everywhere I could because I was that convinced.
You were convinced? Was the really?
Yeah, because you watched him last year with a terrible coaching staff, a terrible surrounding cast around him as far as weapons goes, and he just looked like he had it. Really accurate, throwing to all levels of the field. He's mobile. He can move. He's big. He's got a strong arm. I was all in on Drake May before the season, as much as it pains me to say it, and that has come to fruition for sure.
Well, they're 9-2 on the season. They've won 8 straight games, which is almost unheard of in the NFL. It's very difficult to win games in the NFL, especially 8 in a row. It's such a weird season, right? Like, you come into the season in the NFL, and it's like there's the inevitable teams that you always talk about, especially in the AFC. You got Kansas City with probably the greatest quarterback to ever put on cleats in Patrick Mahomes. You've got Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. You've got Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. Those 3, if you had to pencil in at the beginning of the season, even Sharpie in if you wanted to, the teams that were going to be at the top of the AFC and the NFL this year, it was going to be those 3 teams, the Chiefs, the Ravens, and the Bills. But the AFC standings are wild this year. You got New England at the top. You got Denver right below them at 8-2. You've got who's next? Indianapolis Colts. Are they 9-2 on the season?
Really a surprise to me. Yeah.
Like, you've got these 3 teams who are in the AFC who are leading the way. You got Buffalo, the Baltimore Ravens, the Kansas City Chiefs, all below the New England Patriots, the Denver Broncos, and the Indianapolis Colts. Yep. How surprising is that?
I thought the Patriots, because like I said, I thought May was going to be good, and I thought Vrabel coming over there would level them up because unlike what we talked about in the NBA, where coaching only matters to an extent, coaching matters enormously in the NFL. Huge factor. I didn't think the Patriots would be this good. I thought they might win like 9 or 10 games on the entire season, maybe be in contention for a wild card spot. But 1 seed, I did not see that coming. The Broncos are not fraudulent to me, but they are not as good as their record would suggest. Their defense is legit. Their defense is Super Bowl caliber. I do not think the offense is anywhere near good enough. Bo Nix is not playing well right now. They've squeaked out a bunch of like one-score victories over bad teams. Crazy comebacks, like the Giants game comes to mind. They'll make the playoffs. If you gave me a list of AFC teams with chances to make the Super Bowl, they would probably be like 6 for me. I don't think they're that good. Indy is wild just because Daniel Jones is this year's Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, QB reclamation project, and obviously Jonathan Taylor is playing like an MVP.
Jonathan Taylor's amazing, right?
Yeah, I remember, man, I covered him a little bit in Wisconsin when I was up there for my last TV job. Yeah, he's ridiculous. And I'm also happy for Shane Steichen, who I thought was a good head coach, but was rumored to be on the hot seat before the season because of Anthony Richardson and the thought that he was going to be the starting quarterback and all the uncertainties that was going to bring. Well, it turns out you get a competent quarterback in there with those weapons. I mean, they have a really good surrounding cast of weapons as well. And with that head coach, all of a sudden he goes from maybe on the hot seat to winning coach of the year. He's definitely in that conversation. So, all that said, are the Patriots for real? I think they are for real as far as they're clearly going to make the playoffs. I think they will win a playoff game. I do think that there is a degree of this team will probably get beat in the playoffs by a Kansas City, a Buffalo. I think Baltimore's scary too, because I think Baltimore is steamrolling to the top of the AFC North. Now Lamar's back and healthy,
which isn't saying a lot, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers
it's
are 5.
Not good this year. We got Burrow being hurt. Steelers look a little bit meh. The Browns are the Browns, but yeah, I don't know that I consider the Patriots like a tier 1 Super Bowl contender this year. But that being said, I could very easily see them taking their lumps in, the divisional round this year, maybe the AFC Championship game, retooling for next year. Then next year, moving forward, they're going to be really scary.
Well, the FanDuel numbers back up everything you're saying right now. Look at the Super Bowl odds for this year.
Yep.
The Chiefs are still in the lead, even though they are 4th or 5th in the AFC right now, at plus 600. Let's go even down further to the AFC. Plus 950 for the Bills. The Colts are plus 1,100. The Ravens are plus 1,400. The Broncos, who you called maybe a little bit fraudulent, maybe not as good as their record says they are, plus 1,900. And the Patriots are at plus 2,000. So the numbers, the betting odds are telling us that the teams that you would think are kind of those teams that are got the experience and were the teams that were favored early on are still in the lead, even though none of those teams in the AFC are actually, top 3 right now. It's the ones at the bottom that are Broncos, Patriots, and the Colts. Is there any part of you that would smash that plus 2,000 for the Patriots in the Super Bowl?
Smash! Sorry, this is to win the whole thing?
Win the whole thing.
No, if there's a team in the plus 1,000, there are 2 teams plus 1,000 or more that I would throw some money on, one from each conference. Out of the AFC, I would still take the Ravens, just because, like I said, I think that they're making the playoffs, and I know that Lamar's playoff history is not perfect, but at some point, he is too good of a quarterback. It is going to happen, and maybe this is the year. They start out where they 1-4, I think. He's hurt. It looks like their season's cooked. All of a sudden, he's back healthy. The division is there for the taking. If there was an AFC team plus 1,000 or longer that I would put money on, it would probably be then. I would have the Patriots over the Broncos, like I said. That's a different story. Man, the best call I made this year, there were 2 teams that I thought that were plus money before the season to make the playoffs that I liked much more than consensus. AFC, it was the Jaguars, which, we'll see. They're still in contention, make the playoffs. I love the Seahawks before the season.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Clay Kubiak coming over from the Saints, another Shanahan tree guy. I thought Darnold would, at the very least, be equal to Geno Smith. He's been better than that.
Yeah.
Big Mike McDonald is an excellent defensive coach. We are seeing that bear out. And it's funny because they don't have, basically what, and Greg Olsen explained this really well. What they do is they pose the threat that they're going to run the ball with heavy personnel, and then they just go play action, and Jackson Smith-Njigba is playing out of his mind this season. The best receiver in the NFL. So I think, and we'll see this weekend, because if I had to pick a team out of the NFC to make the Super Bowl, it would be the Rams. But the Rams and the Seahawks play this weekend, so that's going to be one of the best regular season games and a real litmus test so far.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, the Seahawks are a surprising team. I'm really glad Sam Darnold's still playing well, though. I thought he was so good in Minnesota. I thought he was so good last year for Minnesota.
I'm glad he's paying off the talent that we all thought he had when he got drafted in our dumpster fire, number 3 overall. Because clearly there was a reason for it.
Yeah, clearly he has the talent to do that. All right, topic number 2. It's a crazy weekend in the SEC. There's what's been interesting about these last couple of weeks in the SEC football is that it feels like the cream of the crop in the SEC has kind of has shown itself a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and that's Alabama. I think is the best team in the SEC. Georgia's right there underneath them. I think Georgia's a good team. They're not as good as they've been in the past, but in this year's SEC, I think it's Alabama and Georgia have kind of clearly shown themselves to be the elite of the SEC this year. But there's been, beginning of the year, Texas was number 1 in the country. Oklahoma was going on a run until John Mateer got hurt, and they were top 5, I think, for a little bit there, and right up there in the SEC rankings. But they found themselves, I think, Texas, obviously, with the struggles they've had until these last few weeks, and then Oklahoma with John Mateer's injury and them playing, losing some games. They kind of took a step back in terms of the college football playoff, the at-large bids for the SEC. But this week is an interesting weekend. You've got Texas going to Georgia to play against Georgia on the road, and I think Georgia's a plus 5.5 point favorite on the at home against Texas. And then you've got Oklahoma going to Tuscaloosa to play Alabama. And I guess my question to you is, after this weekend, do you think that we'll see a more like the cream of the crop in the SEC will show themselves this weekend? Or do you think that the waters are going to be completely muddied by the end of this weekend? Do you think Texas and Oklahoma have a shot to go on the road and really muck up a situation? Oh, we lost Matt Enfield. Well, hopefully he'll come back. It's a wild weekend. Oh, here he is. He's back. There he is.
I said the wrong thing. Sorry, you were saying Texas and Oklahoma.
Yeah, do you think Texas and Oklahoma have a shot to pull off the upsets on the road in the SEC this weekend?
I think one of them is going to win. I don't know
really?
Who it is. I think honestly, I don't know if I'm going all out saying this, but quietly, for all the chance in the first 6 weeks of the season that Arch Manning was ass,
oh boy,
he's been pretty good lately.
He's been playing pretty good. Texas is tough.
Pretty good lately. I still want to see him stay in college for another year. Yeah, I don't know which one, but one of those two I think can pull off the upset. And by the way, even if Bama or Georgia lose, I still think they're probably in the playoffs regardless. But yeah, I think one of those two wins. I'm just not sure who.
So if Bama or Georgia lose this weekend, you still think one of those, either one of those teams?
I don't think that knocks them out. I mean, not yet. I'm curious obviously it depends on how the rest of the rankings play out, but it feels like both of their resumes, for the most part, are good enough to where they could withstand a home loss to Texas's 10, Oklahoma's 11. Yeah, I think they can withstand that. But obviously it puts them on tenuous footing the rest of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the FanDuel numbers say the same thing. It says SEC seems to make playoffs, and I think these would mostly be at-large bids. I don't think either one of these three teams have a shot to win the championship against Georgia or Alabama. The Oklahoma Sooners, FanDuel says yes, they will make the playoffs at plus 225, no at minus 290. Texas Longhorns plus 194, no minus 245. And the Vanderbilt Commodores, yes, plus 290, no minus 385. The Texas numbers are wild to me because, bro, they went from being number 1 in the country to not – I mean, I thought they were done, but they have made a real serious comeback in the rankings. What are they, top 10 in the college football playoff rankings right now? Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, if they win this weekend, that number is going to rock it up. And I imagine they would probably be favored at that point. They would probably be minus money.
You would have to be, right? Like if Texas beats Georgia in Georgia, you would think Texas would absolutely be a favorite to be an at-large bid, right?
By the way, how funny would it be, depending on which side you stand on this, Vanderbilt going to Neyland and beating Tennessee rivalry week to lock up an at-large bid in the college football playoff, which a lot probably has to happen for it to get to that point, but man, it would be funny.
I root for Tennessee's downfall and everything. Whatever
Memphis do.
Whatever happened, like if there's anything that's related to, it doesn't have to be sports related. It could be a debate team. If it's debate, if the Tennessee debate team, yeah, it could be anything. And I want Tennessee to lose. So I would love it as much as Nashville can kiss my whole ass. Like I would love to see Vanderbilt absolutely go to Neyland Stadium and smoke Tennessee on the road. I think that would be awesome.
What are your thoughts on this? You said you think Bama and Georgia are the cream of the crop of the SEC by themselves. Yes. How far away do you think Ole Miss is? Like a half tier? I can see like a half tier.
I would say a half tier. I think even just a few weeks ago, I don't think I still trusted Lane Kiffin. I always to me, it always feels like Lane is going to lose a game that he shouldn't lose. Last year was Kentucky, right? Like last year was the Kentucky
Florida,
year,
they have this weekend.
and the Florida, and they have Florida this weekend. There is, I will say this: we have one very specific guy on our network who is a massive Ole Miss fan, Uncle Buck Drew Gann from the 2 Buck Sports Show at 11 a.m. He is a massive Ole Miss fan, and he is deathly afraid of this weekend against Florida.
I think home is the only reason I would feel relatively comfortable. But it's sort of head coach. Never know. There's probably at least some of the guys in the locker room, which I don't even know how many recruiting players they have from last year. But yeah, there might be a little bit of the mental demons you have to fight through. But the fact that it is at the Vaught makes me feel a lot better about it. If they win this weekend, they're locked in, and then they can go.
Yes.
Probably. Hey, Egg Bowl this year. I don't know how competitive it will be, but it'll be better last year at least.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think Mississippi State kind of shot their shot at the beginning of the year, and they are. Shout out to Mississippi State and their coach Jeff. Is it Jeff Lebo? Isn't that his name? Jeff Levy. Levy. Thank you for the work he's done. I think Mississippi State's a couple of years away, but they were a dumpster fire last year, and they've been passable this year. They've been better this year, so it'll be interesting. I still think Ole Miss is probably going to put them away pretty quickly in that game. I know it's the Egg Bowl, so I know it's always tight. I want real quick on this. Are you as surprised as I am how bad DJ Lagway has been this year? Like, just how is he a bust at this point? Like, it's hard to say that as a college player, but is he a bust at this point?
No, I would still hold that hope for him. I went on a whole rant about this, not rant, but it was during my 2 cent segment on my Sunday Sportscast. This is probably like 2 months ago at this point. I want young, talented quarterbacks at this point to stay in college and play as many college games as they possibly can, because it is not a coincidence that a lot of guys that get drafted really high, the player that changed everything as far as how quarterbacks are drafted now was Josh Allen, because Josh Allen was a bad college player that didn't have a ton of starts, was a freak show athlete, as raw as it gets, and he is on now a Hall of Fame trajectory.
Right.
But Josh Allen and his developmental path made teams think that Trey Lance could be that guy, that Anthony Richardson could be that guy, instead of being the outlier he is. So going back to the point, guys like Lagway, Lenore Sellers, Arch, man, stay in college as long as you can and get those reps. A guy that, real quick, before I get off this rant, a guy that I loved before he popped in college was Jaden Daniels.
Oh, yeah.
Next year, he won the Heisman. But then when he was in the middle of his draft cycle, a knock against him was that he was older for a quarterback prospect. I don't think it's coincidence Jay Daniels started like 55 college games and walked into the NFL basically a top 10 quarterback.
Like ready to go and ready to be a functioning rookie quarterback, right?
Resurrected a totally dead franchise and took them to the NFC Championship game in year 1. Obviously, this year's been a dumpster fire with them because they've had a ton of injuries, but I think that he's established himself at this point. So, yeah, all those guys, man. Lagway, stay as long as you can, whether it's Florida or not. I think Lenore needs to get out of South Carolina, get into a better environment next year. And Arch probably needs to stay in Texas for another year. Get those reps.
Yeah, I mean, is Arch draft eligible? I mean, this is his third year, right?
He can come out next year, but all the reporting says he's going back for at least another year.
Yeah, he needs to, right? Like this isn't the NBA. Like the idea that guys at a certain age, like NFL quarterbacks, the careers aren't as long as, unless you're a freak of nature like Tom Brady, but stay as long as you can, be developed, and then come, right?
Right, and franchises are wildly impatient at that position too, because if you don't show that you might have something early on, they'll get rid of you. They'll throw your ass to the side real quick and go draft another one.
Yeah, absolutely. Who of these three guys on this overlay over here, Mateer, Simpson, and Arch Manning, do you think will be the best NFL quarterback?
So this is very relevant for my pro team because the Jets will probably be drafted towards the top of the draft next year, and obviously a quarterback is probably going to be top of mind. So not listed here is Mendoza, Fernando Mendoza, who I think is probably the favorite to go number one overall. Personally, while I get the appeal of Mendoza, I like the idea of Ty Simpson a lot more. But again, I think Ty Simpson is a guy that falls into the bucket of I would like to see him stay another year and start more games because he's only started this year, basically. Right?
Yeah.
So I think it's either Mendoza or Arch. I'm telling you, like people
you think Arch really?
People sold their Arch stock really soon. Wow. I think Arch. Think about Arch's growth within this season.
Right, that's true.
Now you give him another off season and a full year next year. Like I understand the last name is part of the hype, but there are also a lot of really smart quarterback evaluators that were very high on him going into the season, and that was off of the tape that he showed. It was a small sample of tape, but it was off of what he displayed, what he played last year. I don't think that this is a player with nothing to back up the hype. I think that with more reps, he could be the prince that was promised after all.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, let's go to the third and last topic for the three-pointer. Got to add you back in. Illegal sports betting is just dominating the news cycle right now. You have everything. I mean, it is just 14 guys that are either connected or somehow an affiliate of the Mafia up north were indicted for some illegal college sports betting. You have the situation going on with the NBA and the FBI investigation into all of that with Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier and is it Jonte Porter? Michael Porter. Yeah, Jonte Porter.
Yeah.
Like just so much going on right now. Then you have the Major League Baseball.
The Guardians pitchers, Emmanuel Clase and Luis Ortiz, who just got arrested for the prop bets on ball strike.
I don't really know how to go about this conversation, but what the hell is going on? And where is this leading to? Like, are we, will there be sports betting moving forward? Like, is it just that corrupt at this point?
Well, yeah, I think that what we're all kind of realizing is this stuff has probably been happening more often than we have known about for a long time. It is just coming to light a lot more now because of the technology that is available to be surveillance. You also have obviously sports books that are seeing, there were $100,000 waged on Emmanuel Clase's first pitch to be a ball in the bottom of the ninth inning. Wow, that's suspicious. Like,
that's weird.
It's a lot easier to track that. Terry Rozier randomly $500,000 on all of his unders, and then he only plays 10 minutes. Wow, something's up there. So I think it's just a lot easier to track now. The thing is, with some of these guys, I don't know, the money made by the players involved in the college sports stuff. You know how dumb you got to be Terry Rozier? You're making $26 million a year, and you might have ruined your NBA career over $200,000 in prop bets.
The part of it to me, Matt, that tells me this is a different situation is that the Mafia is involved. I would not be surprised if there was some level of force being applied
like threats on
force being applied. Like that's the part of it. Like you can kind of laugh and joke about it and say, Yeah, how silly is it that a Terry Rozier would call his buddies up in his hometown and be like, "Hey, I'm going to go out in 9 minutes. Just bet my unders on my props," right? But the story gets so much deeper if it's the mafia involved, or in the case of Gilbert Arenas, it's the damn Russian mafia involved. If it's like all those different, like, it just feels like there is so much to this that, I mean, Kash Patel came out a couple weeks ago and said, man, we've been investigating this for 4 years, right? Like, this is a 4-year investigation. And we're about to blow this. This thing is about to go crazy. One of my favorite sports leagues in all the world is the UFC. They're dealing with it right now. They had a guy who, and he's from Dagestan, so I don't want to say his name wrong, but he was this up and coming prospect who's beating everybody, who's fighting folks in his gym and beating up on UFC veterans, Hall of Famers, all this kind of stuff. He comes in against this low-level dude in a UFC Fight Pass event and gets washed in the first round. And like 10 or 20 minutes before his fight, him losing in the first round to a rear naked choke was bet on by like $200,000-$300,000. And guess what he lost by? First round rear naked choke.
That's the thing, is that back in the day, this stuff was a lot harder to track because there was no real paper trail. And now there's a paper trail for almost everything.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I don't know. It's so interesting to me because I think sports betting is a part of the fabric of sports now. It's not going anywhere. Like, it's never going anywhere. But you just have to wonder, like, what needs to happen to get this under control, especially when you have the power brokers that are involved, right? The people that set the lines, the people that they have active involvement in whether or not the overs or unders of those bets are hit, like a Terry Rozier, right? Like, I know, like, listen, the unders on my prop bets are this. I'm going out in 9 minutes anyway, so bet the unders. Like, how do you get guys like that unless it's full extent of the law, prosecution, going to jail, whatever? Does that scare people away? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, the Chauncey one is still, to me, like, just mind-blowing. Partially because of, like, just his stature in the game. Like, when I was growing up, that was Mr. Big Shot, finals MVP, all this stuff. And that was someone that you always viewed in such a positive light as someone who carried himself the right way. And then you see, he was involved in running rigged poker games, allegedly, and tipping off bettors on players that were not going to play or weren't going to play much or whatever. So that's a real shocking one to me.
Yeah, we had a guy on our network, a guy named Drew Simler, who's does the Boris Dirk podcast, or the Doris Burke podcast. One of the two. It's basically a Doris Burke podcast. Anyway, up in Portland, he's a big time Trailblazers fan, and he came on the network and was just talking about it. He was like, it kind of makes sense. Like, last year, he goes, I went to the New York Knicks. I went to a game with the Trailblazers and the Knicks. Took my dad to Madison Square Garden to watch his favorite team, the Portland Trailblazers, play in the most famous arena of all time. And he said, and I just sat there and we watched Chauncey Billups coach. And we were just like, this guy just doesn't care. Like, he just doesn't care. And it was almost like, what is going on? Something is happening here. And he said, man, it was wild to see all these reports come out because it kind of confirms all those things you were feeling back then last year when all these things were being accused of all happened last year, right? Where he's tipping off bettors of like, hey, we're just not going to play this dude anymore, right? Like, this guy that's averaging this amount of points, he's not going to play. So it's crazy, man. I don't know where it ends. I don't know where it goes, but it just feels like they're scratching the surface. And the fact that the Mafia is involved, wild, dude, wild. I had no clue the Mafia was still around, to be honest with you. I thought they were. I thought it was long over with. They're still doing their thing. Listen, man, we had a inside the same brain. It was going to be inside the infield brain. I was going to ask you about the New York Jets. What are your thoughts? When I asked you, I said, what's on your mind last night? I said, what's on your mind? You said the New York Jets. I said, okay, well, let's do that. Give me 2 things that the New York Jets need to do to be a competent franchise moving forward.
Hit the quarterback, whoever that is, Mendoza, Simpson, someone in the class of 2027. I don't like the idea of most of the vets out there, unless the Bengals just gave up on Joe Burrow, which I don't think they're going to do. but I'm good on Kyler Murray or whoever other Tua, what other vets might be available this offseason because their original franchises don't want them. So obviously need the quarterback. And I think that I've actually been a little bit pleasantly surprised over the last 5 weeks. I thought Aaron Glenn was such a dumpster fire that it might be one and done. But, they won 2 games. Last night, like I said, like severely undermanned. It wasn't totally embarrassing, especially because the quarterback just like cannot process the field at all right now. I mean, I wanted Justin Fields to work really badly. I mean, he's awful.
He's not good.
Yeah. He's a great runner. But the last like 5 weeks, I think that it's starting to click for Glenn a little bit in terms of like the game management stuff. I actually think that their offense coordinator, Tanner Engstrand, who was with Glenn in Detroit, was a good hire. I like what he does schematically. Special teams coordinator is pretty good. Defense coordinator, Steve Wilkes, who's been around the block a million times, and it's the same sort of dance, just with a different team now. I think they got to get rid of him. But what they did at the deadline was shocking, obviously. But this has been a franchise my entire life, and beyond that has always operated under a defensive identity. And I think that they've just figured out that doesn't really win anymore. So the offensive line is set, and now they've got 5 first-round picks in the next 2 drafts. They are loaded up. The 2027 draft class is supposed to be one of the great ones of all time. That's the early read on it. So hopefully they hit on some good offensive players, especially next couple drafts, especially obviously quarterback, and we could go from there. But I'm not as hopeless on Aaron Glenn as I was probably 6 weweeks ago. And I really wanted it to work with him because he's a former Jets player, and you could tell how much it means to him. So, he's made the Detroit comparison a million times. I'm not going to go there because Detroit has become what it's become. But obviously, the Dan Campbell era in Detroit started off miserably, and then it got turned around, and it got turned around in a big way. So, yeah, I'm a little bit hopeful that he's the guy to do it with the Jets. But obviously, we got to get a competent quarterback in the building for the long term.
So you're not too upset with them getting off of Sauce Gardner and picking up
that hurt. So Quinnen was one thing. Quinnen had been here for 6 years. Quinnen was a great player, but if Quinnen wanted out. Quinnen apparently requested a trade multiple times because he was tired of losing. I can't blame him. He's been here 6 years. Hasn't won shit. There's actually a stat. Quinnen Williams has, above players with like a certain amount of games with the Jets, he had the second lowest winning percentage of any player in franchise history. And his franchise done a lot of losing. So I don't blame him for wanting out. I think Sauce is very good. I think that Sauce, obviously, he walked into the league, first team All-Pro his rookie year, which is crazy. Sauce is also making top of the market quarterback money. I think Sauce, in a good year, Sauce is a top 5 quarter in the league. I think that in a median year, he's probably between 5 and 10, which is good. But I can also understand them pivoting and saying, oh, we're going to free up this money and spend it on offense. Because you notice who they didn't trade. Yeah. They said Garrett Wilson was off limits, and they did not trade Breece Hall, even though he's due for his contract's up after this year, which tells me you're not going to trade him. You plan on trying to keep him around. So, losing Sauce hurt because obviously it's a really young player at a premium position that came into the league just absolutely on fire. So
became a superstar in his first league in the first year of the league, like crazy.
But again, two first-round picks, and I don't know if you watched last night. Adonai Mitchell, the receiver they got from the Colts, who was a second-round pick last year, is super freaking talented. He was open all night against Christian Gonzalez. Now he dropped multiple passes, including one dime from Fields down the sideline. And that was a knock on him with the Colts, is that he might be like afraid of contact, and his hands are a little bit sketchy. I don't know if it's the yips or whatnot, but that was a great just dart throw on a talented player. And you see if you can develop him, and then if he hits, then maybe that's your long-term number 2 alongside Garrett Wilson. So it's kind of like, in a different sense, it's kind of how we talk about like the Desmond Bane trade with the Grizzlies, where it's like the offer was too overwhelming to turn down. I think that's basically what happened with Sauce, especially, was first-round picks, and Adonai Mitchell was too good to turn down. And the Quinnen Williams deal, I mean, a first, a second, and they got Mozzie Smith, who was a first-round pick for them a couple years ago. They got Hall, so I can't blame them for doing that. And now, hopefully, I think the plan is to shift the focus to the offensive side of the ball. And if you get the quarterback, maybe this thing can turn around.
Absolutely. Matt, thank you so much, dude, for coming on the show. hanging out with me, man. Really good to see you again. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can see all of you on camera, where they can see your stuff, all your work that you do at Channel 5.
Yeah. Catch me weekends anchoring sports on Action News 5, reporting during the week, depending on the day, whatever we got going on. Follow me on Twitter at Matt_infield, Instagram at Matt_infield. You can also catch me doing play-by-play for Christian Brothers University, Northwest Mississippi Community College, and occasionally the University of Memphis, depending on what sport it is. So
I want to tell you, I forgot to text you this. Shout out, dude! You did a fantastic job on that volleyball call the other week.
thank you. I appreciate that.
I understand. Like, I'm a volleyball dad now, and I've just kind of gotten into the game. You did a fantastic job calling that. It's not easy to go from sport to sport to sport and talk and like sound competent, and you did a great job on it. So listen, shout out.
Admittedly, I appreciate that. I don't know the sport that well. It's a fun sport. It's a really fun sport to call because there's always something going on.
Right.
Yeah, I tried to do the best I could to get caught up on the lingo and the terminology and whatnot. So I appreciate you saying that.
You did great, though. I really, as somebody who's a novice and trying to learn it, my wife played Division I volleyball. My daughter's playing volleyball now. I live in a volleyball family. I was pleasantly surprised with how great you did on that call.
Thank you. So
good job. But listen, hey, we'll be back on Monday. Anthony will be back. I'll be back, and we will continue to talk about these Grizzlies. Hopefully they get a win this weekend. We see a little bit of winning cures all, right, Matt? That's what we expect, right?
Man, that's what. Just get out of the gauntlet part of the schedule. Hopefully get healthy and see where the chips fall from there.
Absolutely. Well, listen, shout out to you, Matt. Shout out to all y'all that watch the show. Thank you for tuning in. Like and subscribe to everything, man. Bluff City Media, we're growing. We're trying to continue to make a push here. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let you know when we go live. We'll be going live. Tigers Live will be going live this weekend. Post game bounce will be live this weekend. Come hang out with us as we cover all the sports all the time. Shout out to you guys. We'll see you back here next time. Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to the Bluff City Media YouTube page. We'll see you back here next time.